I actually didn't come up with the name Vicky Butterfly at all. I was given the name. Someone said, oh, what do you want to be called? We're doing a flyer. No one ever put me on a flyer before. No one ever introduced me by name. And so someone wanted to name, so I was like, oh, this is a big decision. I'll have to think about this carefully. And so I thought about it, and I'm sure I thought of something very dramatic that I felt encapsulated every point of my 18-year-old personality, and went to tell my friend who was going to do the flyer, and she went, well, you took long enough about it, I just gave you a name. I called you Vicky Butterfly, because you're Vicky with the butterfly. Hello, my name is Vicky Butterfly and I'm an international performer. I'm talking about some of my inspirations, and in this episode I'd like to talk a bit about Charke. I think when a lot of people talk about burlesque and historical burlesque and the history of burlesque, it often comes back to Lydia Thompson, who's often seen as the populariser of burlesque and also as an independent businesswoman. She was by some considered ground zero, as often are artists like Liza Vestris, who was a cross-dressing travesty performer, they were called. They burlesqued men's routines, Burlington Bertie, all of those, and also noticeable as being actor managers, having some measure of control over money, careers, business that was quite rare for women of that era. I think Charke's very important because she does precede these women by quite a number of years and also had some very interesting firsts of her own. She came from quite illustrious stock. The statue of Charles II in Soho Square was actually made by her grandfather. Her father was Colley Cibber, the dramatist, who was satirised in Pope's Dunciad. He was the poet laureate and he was not very popular. But she became an actress, famous mostly for breeches parts, the travesty roles. She managed her own company, which women didn't at that time. And at that time, that kind of thing was quite hard because you still had licensed theatres. You had to have a royal dispensation to have a company, a theatre. Otherwise, it was low theatre. There were certain things you couldn't put on, like you couldn't do Shakespeare if you didn't have, if you weren't doing excerpts from Shakespeare and had some jugglers to make it lighter. Serious drama belonged in serious theatres. And as well as the satirical roles she was famous for, like Polly Peachum in the Beggar's Opera, she was also the first woman to play Hamlet in a not satirical fashion. So I think, as well as living a lot of the time actually dressed as a man because she found it very, very freeing, her sexuality has never been substantiated or denied. She was married, she had children, she liked to wear trousers, and she apparently made a very good Hamlet. And I'm not sure an influence or an inspiration, but she's important to me, as are so many independent female artists. She was true to herself, she was successful, and she was a strong woman living in a man's world. I think if I met her today, I'd probably just want to shake her hand and say thank you for paving the way for more women to have more control over what they do artistically. There is a rather good book written about her life. In my teens, I used to wear my hair always very long, and I used to dress it with flowers and butterflies, and very kind of pre-Raphaelite. Being drawn towards, I suppose, very Victorian ideas of dancing with fabric and the Victorian skirt dancers. They were called butterfly dancers.